Right, here we are, it's Sunday afternoon. We're just going to go down to a viewing day to a local auction room. Over the last, well, since about December the 15th, December the 16th, the auctions which we normally go to have been closed. So this is one of the first ones of this year for us. And what we're going to do now is just take a drive down there, just to have a look around. Now again, this is one of the auction rooms that isn't on the online auction, so we physically do have to go to this one, but the benefit of these type of auctions is that there's less people who actually turn up to bid. So it's also good to check online. What I did, I typed in local auction houses in my county, and I don't know how I missed it, but I found another auction room which is probably about 15 to 20 miles away, and it's one that again isn't online, so it's one you can turn up to and actually look at the items and actually bid on in the room, which sometimes it's good to have them sort of auction rooms because you get less competition. So I found another one, as I say. I'm always on the lookout, but I don't know how I missed that because it's been a well-established one. So using Google to find auctions, or even local newspapers, we do that quite a lot as well. But what we're going to do, as I say, it's a viewing day today. The actual auction's tomorrow, so being it's a Sunday afternoon, we're just going to take a drive down there now, have a look at the stuff, see what's there, and I'll try and take the camera in. I'm not going to do probably any talking when I'm in there, because I don't really want to draw attention to my filming. So what I'll do is I'll walk around with the camera switched on, and I may overdub it afterwards so you can hear me talking on what I'll show you what I'm actually looking at. The chances are we won't find anything. This auction we're going to now is one where we go to on a regular basis, and 9 times out of 10 we don't end up going to the actual auction after we've been to the viewing because there's nothing really there suitable for us. But on the flip side of the coin, this auction house which we're going to is one that has actually turned up loads of bargains where we've earned £200 plus out of certain items, for example. So our high earners have normally come from auctions like this, and actually this auction house. So as I say, when we get there, we'll get the camera out and I'll just show you. We see a lot of crap there, we see a lot of rubbish. Most of it will be rubbish and not for us. But it's funny, when you actually turn up on the actual auction day, the room is normally full of people. And they're all walking around with their little notepads and writing things down at the last minute. Let's say the auction starts at 6 o'clock. At 5 to 6, they're all running around and looking and writing things in their little books. We just turn up at about 10 to 6, sit in our chair and wait for the auction to start. We've already done our research the day before, so we don't need to go and have a second check or look and run about like everyone else does. We know what we're going here for, and that's exactly what you're going to see today. We may come out with something, we may not, we'll see then. Anyway, speak to you in a minute. We just entered the auction room now. Now again, I know I'm a bit too zoomed in here, but I can't really help that. Now, loads of boxes of stuff. Nothing really I'm interested in here. Nothing I can name, you see. Having a little look around. Nothing there. Now, there's a few items there I'm not really too interested in them. That's a jam pan, making jam. I don't know what these bottles are, but again, there's a name on the bottle. Now, if I was really interested in that bottle, I could write the name down of that bottle at the back there. Looking along, odds and sods really. Nothing I'm really interested in. Nothing there that's going to make me that's going to make me any money. Again, don't be too frightened to look at stuff. I ain't got a clue what that is. It was all in a language which I couldn't understand, so. There weren't so many other people floating about. Now I'm looking at this now. Again, this is an item which has drawn my attention. It's got a name on it. It's got exactly what it is. I know it's a MIG welder. It's a MIG welder 195. I'm just checking the side of it to make sure it's all there.
MIG 195.
Comes with a separate gas bottle as well.
And that gas bottle.
And there we go. That's one which we're writing down. It's identifiable. I know exactly what it is. And it's got what it's called on the unit itself. I've just had a general look around it, and that's all I really need to do, and I'll move on. Again, just having a glance.
Been here before.
Here we go, there's a little some sort of old-fashioned ride-on mower there. Again, I don't care what it is, but if it's got a name or something I can identify it by, like that nameplate at the front there, I will take a look at it. I'm generally looking at the overall condition, although you can't really see me doing that. I'm looking up there as well. There's a Ryobi Strimmer, or Weed Eater if you want to call it that, in very, very good condition. So there'll just be two things that we'll write down. We'll do a check when we get indoors, we'll do our research. And out of our research, we'll put down how much we're prepared to pay at auction for it, knowing what they sell for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we find out.
What we find out online. Again, Sharon does the paperwork, so all I'm left with, I'm the one doing the walking round, and Sharon's writing down what I tell her to write down, because she may miss the name of an item or a manufacturer's number or model number, for example. So that is what I tell her, and she writes down what I tell her. Again, some more household stuff we're not interested in. Now these again, old Victorian fire grates there. I'll have a look at them. I know what they're called. I don't need to be told what they're called. I don't need a label for them. I know them sort of things can probably command some money, so I write them down and I'll do a check. Furniture I'm not really interested in. We're just glancing at this as we're walking past it. We're not really interested in it. That's why we can move through pretty quickly. I'm interested in certain items that I know can make money using my auction reaping methods. So again, mostly household stuff. But you'll find people will go through all these boxes and like all these records, and they'll flick through the individual records. I'm not really interested in that. Again, there's an old World War II helmet. I don't know if you've seen one of my previous videos, but I sold one of them for about £37 when I brought it at an auction very similar to this one for £7. But that one is just a Communal Garden one, but I'm not interested in that. Again, I've got that experience through buying and selling at these sort of auctions. Again, a lot of stuff I'm not really interested in there. Someone will be, but it won't be me. It doesn't take long, as I say. Once you start to identify things that are worth money, you'll remember stuff. And if you're unsure, just write it down. But I personally look for certain things, and as I say, I tell you the sort of things that I look for and my buying triggers in the Auction Reaper DVD. And you can find that at auctionreaper.com. Again, as you can see, there's not really much here, but there's a lot of people who, when they think about buying stuff at auction, like antiques for example, they'll study this stuff and they'll take a chance on a certain piece of pottery or porcelain and glass and find out when they get home that it's really not worth a lot of money, and then think, oh, it's too hard to do that, and they'll give up. But I'm not even interested. I'm just looking at this stuff. I'm not picking it up, I'm not interested, I haven't got that specialist knowledge, and it's not a sort of specialist knowledge that I want to get hold of or learn, to be honest with you, so I just bypass that. Someone might be able to spot a charm in there, but it's not for me, not with my auction reaping methods. Not too sure what shirt that is. It's obviously a rugby shirt with names on it or whatever. I do know that thing there has been at this auction for the past 4 or 5 times, so it's not sold. Possibly people don't know what it is, but I could ask the auctioneer. I just don't feel like it. Again, furniture, I'm not really interested in this sort of furniture, brown furniture. Not interested. I don't really know too much about it. I don't know how much it commands, and not only that, it's a hassle to store and transport about. So, well, there you go. A lot of tat there, believe it or not. But we've written down the things that we was interested in. Not many. How many have we got there, Sharon?
3.
3 things that we're really interested in. So we'll go back and do our research and see if it's worth us coming back tomorrow. And this is all part of working from home. This is our job. This is what we do. It's just to drive out locally, and hopefully we'll find something which we can sell on for a profit. I've had a little quick work with the bloke who runs the auction there as well, and asked him a couple of questions about certain items. He's told me that the MIG welder, for example, which we looked at, the yellow MIG welder, he's told us that that's fully operational when it comes with that gas bottle on the side. And there's normally reserves on these auctions, not very high reserves, as I said, we've bought in some good stuff before, but the beauty of it is that none of it's online at this auction. So turning up, doing your research the day beforehand is normally a very good idea, so we know by the time we arrive at the hall tomorrow, even if it's just for one item, I will turn up for one item. If I can get that at a good enough price where I can make plus 30 quid, 40 quid even, probably even more, then it's worth me turning up. The auction's only a few miles away. I would only be sitting down watching telly, and at the end of the day, this is how you can generate money by local stuff that is all around you. Whenever we stop off at shop windows, as I mentioned before, we look in the shop windows. Sometimes you find deals in there. Most often than not, you don't find anything. But Sharon, just before Christmas, she pulled up and she said there's some items there which we looked at. I knew exactly what they was because it's stuff we bought and sold before, and I knew exactly. The bloke said how much he wanted for them, and we went down. I asked a few questions. The stuff turned out to be in mint condition, fully boxed, and I bought it, paid the asking price what he asked for it, and I doubled my money on that one within a week. So, and we're not talking about little sums either. So, as I say, you've got to keep your eyes open. You've got to be an investigator. You've got to put your feelers out. Just sitting indoors and expecting to do everything from a computer isn't going to work. You have to be living. This is the real world at the end of the day. So you've got to get your hands dirty. You've got to get out there and you've got to start doing things. Finding out. I've had people say to me before that, well, I haven't got any local auction houses around me. Well, I don't agree with that, because surely within a 20-mile radius, wherever you live, there will be someone selling auctions and stuff like that, or police auctions, or household auctions, or some sort of stuff like that. There'll be something somewhere. You've just got to be an investigator to find it. Now, this auction, for example, there are different categories of auction rooms. This is mostly household stuff and stuff which people can just bring in and sell. There's antique auctions, general household auctions, which is what this sort of auction is. There's liquidated stock auctions, government, police auctions, stuff like that. There's auctions which are timed auctions, where they just put stuff online and people bid. They say the deadline for the auction is going to be in 3 days' time, and you've got up to 3 days to place your bid. The trouble with them sort of auctions is what happens is that most people leave it to the last minute, and when you bid at the last minute with them sort of auctions, the time doesn't stop. It adds another 10 minutes on to encourage people to rebid again. So those are not really my favourite types of auctions. But as I say, they will be around you. They'll all be within a 20-mile radius, depending obviously where you live, or there'll be auctions online. So I mean, I've travelled even up to 90 to 100 miles to go to auctions. It is part of being at home. It's better than sitting in a blinking office or working for an employer, being told what to do by someone you don't know, spending all your time with someone throughout your life when you should be with your family, doing things with your family. Anyway, we're going to get home now, do our research, and I'll speak to you again soon. Thanks very much, and goodbye.